So the big question is this: how do you lose all the weight that you want and actually keep it off for the rest of your life, while trying to make sense of all the noise that comes from the weight loss industry? That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers.
G'day guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Weight Loss Secrets podcast. My name is Baron Grant and I'm rapt to be with you to go through another secret, another tip, another trick, something that's going to help you to be able to lose all that weight and keep it off for the rest of your life, because that is what this is all about. Now, a couple of years ago, I was chatting with a couple, and this couple were both heavily overweight, and they said to me, Baron, we don't get it. I had them both on the phone at the same time. They're like, we don't get it. We don't get why we're not losing weight because we eat super, super healthy. And I thought, gee, I've heard that before. But then they went on to tell me the stuff that they ate, and it was really healthy. But here's the thing, the foods that they were choosing may have been healthy, but they were certainly not helpful in losing weight. And that's a very, very important distinction. And they said to me, Baron, all we do is eat organic food. We barely eat anything out of a packet. Everything's organic. And we eat organic fruits in abundance. We eat organic nuts and we eat organic seeds. And I was like, whoa, just stop it there, right there. That's why you're overweight, right there. And they're like, what? So we had this big, long discussion about seeds and nuts and fruit, because they were the three things that they really reeled off on the top of their list. And I helped them to see that those are the things that were holding them back on being able to lose weight. And I want to talk about one of those today, and that's nuts. And anyway, I worked with them for the next 9 weeks. They ended up losing 30 kilos between them. It was off the chain. Like, it was awesome. And they just changed the way that they were eating and had to change their mentality a little bit, because they thought, but Baron, it's organic. It's irrelevant. Just because something's organic or just because something's healthy is of no relevance at all to whether it's going to help you maintain or lose weight. And many foods we eat are just too calorie dense if you're trying to get in calorie deficit. It just won't work. So I want to talk through nuts for a second. Now, just like lots of other food, I'm not going to go through every single nut, just a couple, but just like every other food that is healthy, I shouldn't do that, it is healthy. For those listening, I just did some inverted commas, but nuts are absolutely healthy, but they're just so calorie dense that it gets in the way of your ability to be able to get your calories low enough. So let's talk almonds. So almonds, for example, are packed full of really good stuff. And some of the health benefits associated with it is, they've got healthy fiber and fats and protein and magnesium, and that helps you to lower your blood sugar levels, all this sort of stuff, cholesterol. So there's lots of stuff that's good in an almond, lots of stuff. But there's lots of stuff that's good in everything that we eat that is healthy. And this is where a lot of people fall apart, is they go, but I need the magnesium, I need the fat, I need this much calcium, I need every single little bit of everything. Way too complex. You can never achieve everything all at once. That's just way too over the top. So it's got to be fit for purpose. So let's talk almonds. Like I mentioned before, I digress. I do tend to do that a little bit. So let's talk almonds. Now, if you eat 10 almonds, it'll cost you 100 calories. Doesn't sound like much, but how often do you sit down and go, I'm going to count out my almonds and eat 10 almonds? Not me. If I've got a bowl of almonds, I might eat 20 or 30 without even giving it any thought, because I'm like, yeah, this is healthy. Smash this down, no problems. So almonds are very moorish, particularly if they're roasted almonds. You're like, ooh, how good. You can keep eating those all day. So the challenge with almonds is they're very calorie dense, right? And so remember to keep it in perspective. If you didn't listen to my other podcast about understanding your basal metabolic rate, I'd encourage you to go back to that one, because I explain more about your calorie deficit and how it works and how many calories your body needs for everyday function. And so let's just use a real simple example of 1,500 calories a day, which is the average amount of calories a woman needs. I have to clarify, I don't get people to count calories when you lose weight. That's not a good way to do it. But the calories in, calories out really works. So if you look at it, your body needs about 1,500 calories a day just to function. If you eat 200 or 300 calories worth of nuts, of almonds, you're just blowing too much of that out of the water. So remember, 1,500 for an average woman is what they need to sustain their current weight. Now, if you're heavier, you need more. If you're lighter, you need less. That's a whole other discussion. But the average weight is about that. You can't lose weight at 1,500 calories a day. You're going to have to be less than that. If that's what your BMR is, it's at 1,500. You've got to get less than that. And if you suddenly eat 20 almonds, you've eaten 200 calories in a little snack. You've still got to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe another snack, and depends what you drink throughout the day. All of a sudden, you blow your calories out of the water. Another one is walnuts. So walnuts, you eat 7 walnuts and you're going to eat about 180 calories in 7 walnuts. Are they healthy? Absolutely they are healthy. They are full of amazing stuff. They are so healthy, in fact, that there's a convention held every year about walnuts and their value and how they can figure out what else is good about walnuts. Crazy, huh? A whole convention about it. But that's how good walnuts are. But they're just too high in calories for you to be able to lose weight while not counting calories. You can have this stuff if you want to count your calories, or you want to count your fats, or you want to count your carbs, or you want to count all that sort of stuff. That's a whole other story. Most people don't want to do that. So they're just so high in calories for such a small portion, such a small amount, right? And people will talk about, well, they're high in protein, but they're not that high in protein in comparison to other things that you can eat that are higher in protein, but much lower in calories for much more protein, yeah? Think about that. 10 almonds, 100 calories. 7 walnuts, nearly 200 calories. If you then go and eat a Brazil nut, it's 33 calories for one. You eat 10 of those suckers, it's 330 calories. If you're trying to lose weight, you might be eating 1,000 calories a day somewhere in that vicinity. We don't count them, remember, but you're gonna be in that vicinity. You eat 10 Brazil nuts, you've eaten more than a third of your whole daily intake of food for the day. It's just too much. There's too many calories in such a small amount that's not going to sustain you for a long period of time. So, my message today is nuts are not your friend when you're trying to lose weight. We have to split the thinking. Just because it's healthy doesn't mean it's good for losing weight. We'll talk about lots of other foods that are exactly the same as that, but we've got to make sure that we keep that in mind. Just because it's healthy doesn't mean it's good for weight loss. We've got to look at the calorie impact of those foods to really determine whether we can actually lose weight on that process. I talked to a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds, without any exaggeration, who have done a lot of keto. Now, I'm not fully against keto. I just find it a little challenging when there's so much fat that's consumed on a true keto approach. So I'm not a keto hater at all. I think there's great elements of keto. But I talk to a lot of people who have done keto and they've gotten stuck. And a lot of the time that is because they are still consuming large amounts of fats that come from the nuts they're eating or other things that they're eating as well. But we're talking nuts today. And so when we start to shift that and change that, they're not eating nuts anymore and they replace it with other things, that allows them to lose weight and they lose weight really quickly again. So nuts are not your friend when you're trying to lose weight if you don't want to count calories. Really important. So go away and have a look at your nut eating habits. Are you eating too many? Are you having them because you think they're really healthy? Yes, they're healthy, but it doesn't mean they're going to help you lose weight. So can you trim it down? Can you take them away completely? Can you eat something different that's a bit higher in protein rather than the nuts that are higher in fat, which also comes with a large amount of calories? So that's a tip for today. If you want to lose weight, let's cut out those nuts. Nuts are not helping you lose weight. Get rid of them. Chuck them away, give them to someone else. Don't eat them for now because it will help you lose weight when you're not eating them. You got this.